The directive, Doctor. Nadia Khoury rubbed her eyes. The blue light of her monitor the only illumination in the lab at 3 a.m. For 6 months, her team had been analyzing the repetitive signal from the Proxima Centauri system. Tonight, everything changed. It can't be, she whispered, watching as the pattern resolved into a coherent message. Not random radio bursts, but a language with syntax and instructions for establishing communication. She reached for her phone, fingers trembling as she dialed. Elijah, wake up. You need to see this. 20 minutes later, Elijah Torres burst through the door, his dark hair disheveled and eyes wide with anticipation. Tell me you didn't drag me out of bed for another false positive. Look, Nadia pointed to her screen. It's translating itself. The signal contains an embedded linguistic key. Elijah leaned close, his shoulder brushing hers. Despite their professional fallout 3 months ago, his proximity still made her pulse quicken. My God, he breathed. It's adapting to English in real time. The screen flickered and text appeared. Greetings. Earth, we are the stellar collective we have been watching. For the next hour, Nadia and Elijah exchanged basic communications with an entity claiming to represent an interstellar federation of 27 sentient species. By dawn, government officials had descended upon the observatory, and by noon, the president was addressing the nation. Fellow Americans, we are not alone, the president announced. We have established contact with an advanced civilization that calls itself the Stellar Collective. Nadia sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by military personnel and politicians arguing about national security implications. Elijah sat across from her, their earlier intimacy replaced by professional distance. Dr. Khoury, the Secretary of Defense addressed her. What exactly do they want? They're offering us membership, she replied, still processing the implications. They believe we've reached a developmental threshold that qualifies us for inclusion in their federation. And what do we have to do? The president asked. Nadia took a deep breath. Just one thing. They require proof that we can maintain complete honesty for one standard galactic cycle, approximately 1 Earth year. They believe truthfulness is the foundation of any functioning interstellar society. The room erupted in laughter. Honesty? From politicians? From corporations? From social media? The defense secretary shook his head. We're doomed, Elijah spoke up. It's not impossible. They've provided specifications for the demonstration. Nadia nodded. They don't expect all 8 billion humans to participate. They're allowing us to select representatives, a statistical sample of humanity. These individuals must maintain perfect honesty for 1 year, verifiable by collective technology. The president frowned. And if we fail? We won't be considered again for 100 years, Nadia said. As the meeting dispersed, Elijah caught up with Nadia in the hallway. We haven't talked since Tokyo, he said quietly. This isn't the time, Elijah. It's never the time with you. His eyes softened. But everything's different now. We're facing first contact. Nadia felt the familiar pull between them. Before she could respond, her phone buzzed. The screen displayed a message that made her gasp. What is it? Elijah asked. They're sending a representative, she whispered. The Stellar Collective is coming to Earth. The solution Marcus Webb adjusted his designer glasses and leaned forward in the conference room of Global Broadcasting Network. 6 weeks had passed since the world learned about the Stellar Collective, and humanity was still debating how to meet their single condition. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcus addressed the room of executives and government officials. I believe I have the solution to our interstellar problem. He clicked a remote, and the wall screen displayed a sleek logo. Nothing but truth. A game show? The UN Secretary General frowned. Mr. Webb, this is hardly the time for entertainment ventures. Not just any game show, Marcus countered. The answer to the collective's requirement. They want proof that humans can be honest for 1 year. Let's give them exactly that. But let's make it entertaining. Nadia Khoury, invited as a scientific consultant, found herself intrigued despite her skepticism. The collective specified a representative sample of humanity, she noted. Exactly, Marcus pointed at her. We select contestants from around the globe, different backgrounds, cultures, beliefs. They live in a controlled environment, answering increasingly personal questions while connected to the collective's truth verification technology. The whole world watches. The aliens observe. Everyone wins. The room buzzed with conversation. Elijah Torres, now heading the government's contact team, crossed his arms. And you think people will volunteer for this? Marcus grinned. For a billion-dollar prize pool? Absolutely. 3 days later, the project received official approval. Marcus's production team transformed an abandoned tech campus into Truth City, a futuristic compound where contestants would live for the duration of the show. Dr. Khoury, Marcus said, guiding her through the facility, we need you as our science advisor. You're the only human who's had direct communication with the collective. I'm a physicist, not a television personality, Nadia protested. Which is exactly why viewers will trust you, Marcus insisted. Plus, our liaison from the Stellar Collective arrives tomorrow. You should be here. The next morning, a small shuttlecraft descended from the clouds, landing gracefully on the helipad. The door slid open, and out stepped a humanoid figure that moved with liquid grace. Standing nearly 7 feet tall with iridescent skin that shifted between azure and violet, Vexalia of the Stellar Collective surveyed the welcoming committee with 4 multifaceted eyes. I bring greetings, Vexalia spoke, voice melodic and perfectly accented. I am authorized to observe your demonstration and report to the collective. Nadia stepped forward. Welcome to Earth, I'm Dr. Nadia Khoury. The one who deciphered our initial communication, Vexalia tilted her head. Your neural patterns show great intellectual capacity, Marcus intervened smoothly. And I'm Marcus Webb, creator of Nothing But Truth, our method of fulfilling your directive. As Marcus explained the concept, Vexalia's expression shifted through colors Nadia couldn't interpret. You've turned our membership requirement into entertainment? Vexalia finally asked. It's how we do things here, Marcus replied confidently. Is that a problem? After a pause, Vexalia's skin settled into a warm gold. It is one unexpected, but not prohibited by our parameters. I will observe this method. Later, as they showed Vexalia the technology integration, Elijah pulled Nadia aside. We need to talk about us, he whispered. There is no us, Elijah. Not anymore. That night in Tokyo was a mistake, she cut him off. Though the memory of their bodies intertwined still haunted her dreams. Across the room, Vexalia watched their interaction with obvious curiosity. Human relationships appear quite complex, she commented to Marcus. You have no idea, he replied. Speaking of which, contestant selection begins tomorrow. Want to help choose who represents humanity? Vexalia's skin rippled with interest. I find I'm developing an unexpected fascination with your species, Marcus Webb. That's what they all say, he winked, not entirely joking. The premiere. The global premiere of Nothing But Truth drew an estimated 3 billion viewers. Amara Okafor, a former news anchor with a reputation for integrity, stood on the gleaming stage as cameras circled. Tonight, she announced, 12 ordinary people begin an extraordinary journey. For 1 year, they will live together, compete together, and most importantly, tell the truth, always without exception, monitored by technology beyond our understanding. The contestants emerged one by one. A school teacher from Kenya, a fisherman from Norway, a tech entrepreneur from Singapore. Among them, Kai Nakamura, a former military operative from Japan, drew Nadia's attention. His personnel file mentioned classified operations, yet he'd volunteered for a show predicated on absolute honesty. From the production booth, Nadia watched as Vexalia monitored the truth detection systems she had integrated with Earth technology. The neural patterns are fascinating, Vexalia commented. Humans consider so many alternatives before speaking. We call it filtering, Marcus replied. Most social interaction involves deciding what not to say. The alien's skin shifted to a contemplative blue. Yet truth exists independently of what is spoken. On screen, Amara introduced the first challenge, Confession Carousel. Contestants rotated through partners, asking increasingly personal questions. Kai asked Elena, the Spanish doctor, what's your greatest regret? The monitoring systems hummed as Kai paused. During an operation in the South China Sea, I followed orders that resulted in civilian casualties. 3 children died. His voice remained steady, but pain etched his features. I was commended for the mission's success. A hush fell over the studio. The truth monitor glowed green. Behind the scenes, government officials exchanged concerned glances. Classified information was becoming public entertainment. By midnight, after the broadcast ended, Nadia found Elijah in the data center, reviewing footage. "This is dangerous," he said without looking up. "Day 1 and we're already airing national secrets. That's the point, isn't it? Complete honesty?" "There's honesty and then there's compromising security." Nadia sat beside him. "The collective values truth above all else. Maybe we should consider why that frightens us so much." Elijah finally met her gaze. "In Tokyo, when you said you felt nothing for me anymore, the alien tech would have shown that as a lie, wouldn't it?" Before she could answer, Marcus burst in. "Ratings are through the roof. We're trending worldwide." Following him, Vexalia entered, her skin pulsing with rapid color changes. "I have been authorized to participate more directly in your program," she announced. "Participate?" Nadia asked. "The collective wishes me to experience human interaction personally. I will join your contestants tomorrow." Marcus practically glowed with excitement. "An alien contestant? Viewership will double." Later that night, Vexalia found Kai alone in the Garden of Truth City. "You revealed military secrets today," she observed. "Does this not cause you difficulty?" Kai looked up at the stars. "Some truths need telling, no matter the cost. Why did you volunteer for this?" His eyes reflected something ancient and tired. "Because I've carried lies too long, and because I know things about first contact that your collective might find interesting." Inside the production offices, Nadia reviewed contestant profiles when she felt a presence behind her. "Working late?" Elijah's voice was soft. "Always." He stepped closer. "I've been offered a position with the International Contact Committee. If I take it, we won't be working together anymore." Nadia turned to face him, suddenly aware of how alone they were. "Is that what you want?" Instead of answering, he brushed his fingers against her cheek, and this time she didn't pull away. The revelation 3 months into Nothing But Truth, the show had transformed global culture. Truth-telling had become fashionable. Political figures submitted to voluntary scanning. Relationships worldwide experienced painful but necessary reckonings. In Truth City, the remaining 8 contestants had formed complex bonds. Vexalia had become an unexpected fan favorite. Her forthright observations about human behavior both insightful and unintentionally hilarious. Today's challenge, Amara announced to the contestants seated in a circle, is called Buried Secrets. Each of you will reveal something you've never told anyone. When Kai's turn came, he took a deep breath. 6 years ago, my unit intercepted an unidentified object that entered Earth's atmosphere. It wasn't the first contact with the stellar collective. Governments have known about alien civilizations for decades. The studio erupted in chaos. The truth monitor glowed steady green. In the control room, officials demanded the feed be cut. "You can't," Marcus insisted. "The agreement with the collective requires unedited broadcasts." "This is a matter of planetary security," a general shouted. Nadia watched as Vexalia's skin turned a deep purple she'd never seen before. "Is it true?" Nadia asked her quietly. "The collective had no prior official contact with Earth," Vexalia replied carefully. The truth monitor beside her flickered yellow. "That's not a complete truth," Elijah noted. Vexalia's colors stabilized. "Individual members of various collective species have observed Earth for centuries. But this is our first formal contact." After the broadcast, Nadia and Elijah raced to verify Kai's claims, accessing classified databases with their security clearances. "Look at this." Elijah pointed to a heavily redacted file. "Operation Stardust 2018. Recovery of non-terrestrial technology." Why would the collective pretend this is first contact? Nadia wondered. That evening, Nadia found Vexalia in the observation dome, staring at the stars. "Your contestant revealed uncomfortable truths today," Vexalia said without turning. "That's what the show is about, isn't it?" Vexalia's skin rippled. "Dr. Curry, there's something I must tell you. The honesty directive was never about membership qualification." "What?" "It was a test, to see how humans would respond. Would you reject the condition? Try to deceive us? What we never anticipated was this." She gestured at the Truth City around them. "You turned our directive into a game, into entertainment, into connection. Why test us at all?" "Because the last species we admitted without thorough evaluation nearly destroyed the collective from within." Vexalia turned to face her. "I've grown fond of humans, Nadia, particularly your capacity for adaptation. Later that night, Nadia found Elijah waiting in her quarters. "I've been reassigned," he said. "They're shutting down the contact team." "Because of what Kai revealed?" "Because they know we know." He stepped closer. "I'm tired of the secrets, Nadia. What happened in Tokyo?" She silenced him with a kiss, 3 months of tension dissolving as his arms encircled her. "The truth," she whispered against his lips. "I never stopped loving you." The judgment, the announcement came without warning. 6 months into the year-long demonstration, the Stellar Collective declared they were ending their observation period early. Truth City buzzed with speculation as Vexalia prepared to deliver the collective's judgment during a special global broadcast. Viewing parties gathered in homes and public spaces worldwide. The future of human civilization hung in the balance. In the green room, Nadia paced nervously while Elijah reviewed security protocols for the broadcast. "What if they reject us?" she asked. "Then we continue as we have for thousands of years," he replied, taking her hand. "Alone, but together." Marcus burst in, vibrating with nervous energy. Biggest audience in broadcasting history. No pressure, but literally every human with access to technology is watching. On stage, Amara introduced the remaining contestants, now celebrities in their own right. Kai stood tall despite the government investigations launched against him. Vexalia entered last, her skin a kaleidoscope of shifting patterns. "People of Earth," she began, her voice translated to hundreds of languages simultaneously. "The Stellar Collective has completed its evaluation of humanity." The world held its breath. "When we issued our directive for honesty, we did not specify how it should be implemented. This was intentional. How a species interprets and fulfills such requirements reveals more than the fulfillment itself." Vexalia's skin settled into a warm, golden glow. "Most species attempt to meet our requirements in the most minimal, literal manner possible. Some reject them entirely. None has ever responded as you did, by turning our directive into an opportunity for connection, entertainment, and cultural evolution." She gestured to the contestants. "These representatives have demonstrated that humans possess a unique capacity for adaptation, creativity, and transformation. While you may struggle with honesty, as all sentient beings do, you aspire to it. You have confronted painful truths about yourselves, your history, and your relationships with one another." Vexalia spread her forearms in a gesture of acceptance. "The collective hereby extends an invitation to Earth to join as our 28th member civilization." The studio erupted in cheers, echoed by celebrations around the planet. "However," Vexalia continued when the noise subsided, "membership comes with responsibilities. The collective will establish an embassy in Truth City, which will remain a zone of absolute honesty. And we request that nothing but truth continue as a cultural exchange program." Marcus couldn't contain his excitement. Season 2 with alien contestants done. As the broadcast concluded, Nadia found herself surrounded by the team that had made it all possible. Elijah slipped his arm around her waist, no longer hiding their rekindled relationship. Kai approached them, nodding respectfully. "What happens now? To those of us who told truth some would prefer remained hidden, the truth has a way of protecting those who speak it," Vexalia said, joining them. "The collective will ensure your safety." As dawn broke over Truth City, Nadia and Elijah stood on the balcony of the control center, watching the sun illuminate a world forever changed. "Do you think we're ready?" Nadia asked. "For what's out there?" Elijah smiled. "I think we've proven we can adapt to anything, even the truth." Below them, Vexalia walked with Marcus, discussing plans for the continued broadcast. In homes across the planet, humans awakened to their first day as citizens of a larger community. In Truth City, contestants who had entered as strangers emerged as a family forged through honesty. And somewhere in deep space, the Stellar Collective welcomed its newest, most unpredictable member, a species that had taken their single rule and turned it into a game show.